Welcome back. Um, we're going to be starting our next UWorld journal. Okay. He says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be honored among the nations. I will be honored in the earth." Psalms 46:10. Okay. So, okay, we'll start with lithium. Lithium causes weight gain, dry hair. Sorry. Lithium causes weight gain, dry skin, and then hair loss, and constipation and bradycardia. These are symptoms of hypothyroidism. Lithium causes hypothyroidism by decreasing thyroid hormone synthesis and release. Lithium also causes nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. Remember we talked about this? Lithium also causes nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, and it also causes lithium also causes hypothyroidism. What is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus? It's when your urine is dilute because desmopressin cannot work on the V2 receptors, right? So insipidus, insipidus. So lithium causes nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. It's due to an ADH receptor mutation. Okay. Um, So, minimal change in urine osmolarity even after administration of ADH. Yeah, the V2 receptors here are busted, so the desmopressin will not work to hold back the urine. So all the urine will flow out, and minimal change in urine osmolarity. Yeah, there's no changes, dilute urine. See, urine osmolarity in both these situations is less than 300 milliosmoles per kilogram. So if the urine osmolarity is less than 300, that means that there's not enough solute in the urine, which means that it is dilute urine. Now, if there's more than 290 milliosmoles per kilogram in the blood, if there's more solutes in the blood over 290, that means that um, the blood is concentrated. It's yeah, too much. Okay. All right, next. In the absence of advance directive and a designated healthcare proxy, a family member of an incapacitated person should be called. If that's not available, a close friend who cares and knows about what the patient about what the patient would have wanted. So, in the absence of an advance directive and a designated healthcare proxy, a family member of an incapacitated person should be called. So basically, family does, if there's no written will, the family member does take precedence over anybody else. and they should be called. If that person is not available, then a close friend who knows what the dying person would have wanted, you have to listen to them. All right, now 132. In a non emergent setting, trained language interpreters should be used to ensure optimal medical care. This applies to deaf patients using American Sign Language as well. Okay. In non emergent settings, trained language interpreters should be used to ensure optimal medical care. This applies to deaf patients using American Sign Language as well. Yeah, so if it's not an emergency, get a interpreter so that there is no miscommunication. This includes deaf patients using sign language. Okay, so if you have a deaf patient using sign language, get an interpreter. Get an interpreter to explain to you what the person is saying. Okay, 135. Separation anxiety disorder. More than 4 weeks of anxiety in children. Yeah, separation anxiety disorder. More than 4 weeks of anxiety in children, and more than 6 months in adults. Separation anxiety disorder. Yeah, more than 4 weeks of anxiety in kids, and more than 6 months in adults. This occurs when there is separation for those to whom the patient is attached. Physical symptoms and nightmares may accompany the anxiety. You know, I used to think separation anxiety was only for children, but it's not. Separation. Separation anxiety disorder. Overwhelming fear of separation from home or attachment figure lasting more than 4 weeks. Can be normal behavior up to 3 to 4, up to years 3 to 4. May lead to fictitious physical complaints to avoid school. Treatment is CBT. Alright, so that's what that is. And remember, it's not just for kids. These symptoms have to be present in adults more than 6 months. Um, let's see. Okay, next. Trazodone. It's a highly sedating antidepressant used to treat insomnia. Yeah, trazodone is a highly sedating antidepressant used to treat insomnia. Priapism is a rare but serious effect of trazodone. So priapism is this. Priapism. Oops. So priapism is a rare condition causes erection to last for an abnormally long time. So this is priapism. Corpus cavernosum fills with blood. Okay, so it just. Oh my gosh, that looks so bad. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the surgical management of pre-prism. That looks absolutely terrifying. Okay. Okay. So basically, the penis fills with blood, and then it can't come back down, and I think you have to. Um. Oh my gosh. Surgically fix it. Okay. And this is a side effect of trazodone. Okay. So basically, pre-prism, um, it can cause ischemia. Okay. PCP causes dissociative symptoms, hallucinations, ataxia, nystagmus, and memory loss. So PCP causes dissociative symptoms, hallucinations, ataxia, nystagmus, and memory loss. PCP is an NMDA receptor antagonist, which means that there will be an excess release of excitatory neurotransmitters. Also, this also inhibits the reuptake of norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin. Okay, so PCP causes dissociative symptoms. Yeah, okay. PCP causes dissociative symptoms. Um, PCP causes dissociative symptoms, hallucinations, ataxia, nystagmus, and memory loss. Okay. Causes dissociative symptoms, hallucinations, ataxia, nystagmus, and memory loss. PCP is an NMDA receptor antagonist, which means there will be an excess release of excitatory neurotransmitters. This also inhibits reuptake of norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin. Okay. So if it inhibits the reuptake of norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin, that means the norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin all increase in your brain. Okay. 136. 3 year old should be able to parallel play, but not cooperative play. Okay. All right. 3-year-old should be able to parallel play, but not cooperative play. What's parallel play? Um, okay, this is parallel play. So 3-year-old, which is 36-month-old, should be able to parallel play by 24 to 36 months. Okay, parallel play. So this is when two or more kids are playing side by side without interacting. So imagine like a 3-year-old going sitting next to another 3-year-old and painting, but they don't talk to each other. That's parallel play. They should be able to do this by age 3 years old. Okay, that's parallel play. Alright, so a 3-year-old should be able to parallel play, but not cooperative play, which means like playing with other kids. Okay, cooperative play is where's cooperative? Okay, we'll get to it. Cooperative play. So 3-year-olds should be able to parallel play, but not cooperative play. 3-year-olds should be able to climb stairs with alternating feet. Yeah, so cooperative play is for like 4 years. See this? Oh my gosh. Okay, 4 years. Imaginary friends. 4-year-olds have play with other 4-year-olds. Um, they also have imaginary friends of 4-year-old at age 4. Although I never had imaginary friends. I think I don't think my brother and my sister ever had imaginary friends either. I don't know. I think that's a little. Oh my. Okay, so okay. Let's see. Cooperative play. Okay, so a 3-year-old climbs stairs with alternating feet. Rides a bike like a tricycle, and speaks in simple sentences and describes their age and gender. Toilet training begins by age 3. They should be able to copy a circle and use utensils fine and utensils. Using utensils is fine motor skills. So we're gonna go through this real fast. Um, 3-year-olds should be able to parallel play. Um, what is it? Rapprochement, which is when the two year old moves away from and returns to the mom. Okay. Core gender identity formed. So realization they know their gender by 3 years old. Okay. So 3 year olds, they comfortably spend part of the day away from the mom. They can drive a tricycle. They can ride a tricycle by age 3. Mm, and a 3-year old can also they can also copy a circle and use utensils. Okay. Um, so language-wise, they can 3-year-olds can understand 1,000 words by year 3. Okay. By age 4, they can um, they can do a stick figure. Maybe I don't know if that means they can copy a stick figure or they can actually draw a stick figure. Interesting. Okay, but okay. Okay, so here we're just gonna go through this chart. 0 to 12 months. The primitive reflexes disappear. Okay, moral reflex by 3 months, rooting by 4 months, Palmer by 6 months, Babinski by 12 months. Okay, so more reflux is what? Moral reflux is a normal reflex for infant when he is startled or feels like they're falling. So the infant will have a startled look, and the arms will fling out sideways with the palms facing up. So this reflux goes away by 3 months. So here's the moral reflux. Okay. So the babies will stick out their hands. This will go away by 3 months. Um, okay. Rooting, rooting reflux. So this is rooting reflux. Okay. Rooting reflux. This reflux starts when the corner of the baby's mouth is stroked or touched. The baby will turn his or her head and open his or her mouth to follow and root in the direction of the stroking. This helps the baby find the breast. Okay, so it starts okay when the corner of the baby's mouth is stroked or touched. Turn his or her head and open his or her mouth to follow in the and root in the direction of the stroking. Okay, so these are primitive reflexes that are naturally within us so that we can survive. Okay, so more reflex, starting reflex, rooting reflexes, the looking for the boob, and then palmar reflex. What is that? Palmar reflex. Palmar reflex in babies. The palmar grasp reflex is elicited by placing an object or the examiner's finger in the palm of the infant's hand, which leads to an involuntary flexion response. This reflex subsides by 3 to 6 months of age and is replaced by voluntary grasping. Okay, which is necessary to allow transfer objects from one hand. Okay, the palmar grasp reflex is elicited by placing an object in the examiner's hand. Okay, so here it is, palmar. So the baby will grab your hand. Palmar, say this. You know how these newborn pictures, um, people take newborn pictures, but this is actually just a primitive reflex of the baby. Primitive reflex of the baby. Oh, it's super cute though, right? Oh, adorable. So it goes away by 6 months. Okay. Babinski. But what is Babinski reflex? Babinski. So Babinski reflex is Babinski reflex. So Babinski reflex occurs After the sole of the foot has been firmly stroked, the big toe then moves upward or toward the top surface of the foot. The other toes fan out. Okay, so occurs after the sole of the foot has been stroked. The big toe then moves upward or toward the top surface of the foot. The other toes fan out. So when you stroke the foot, all the toes fan out. So the big toe extends upward, and the other toes they fan out. This is right before. This is not Babinski. This is like when they're starting to do Babinski. So all the toes are supposed to go up, fan out, if it's a normal Babinski response. See, this is Babinski right here. All the toes are fanned out. Okay, and the big toe is extended all the way up. Okay, so it goes away by 12 months. And these are all normal reflexes. Okay, posture lifts the head up prone by 1 month, rolls and sits by 6 months, crawls by 8 months, and stands by 10 months, walks by 12 to 18 months. Okay, so the posture, the kid lifts up the head when they're lifts their head up prone. So when they're on their knees, knees and arms, they can lift their head, is what they're saying. Not when they're laying flat on their back. Okay, the kid rolls and sits by 6 months, crawls by 8 months, and stands by 10 months, walks by 12 to 18 months. Alright, the kid passes the toys hand to hand by 6 months. The pincer grab is by 10 months. What is pincer grab? Grasp. Pincer, oops, pincer grasp is this. See this? It's like you can finely grasp something. It's like under fine motor skills. So its ability to hold between something between the thumb and the first finger. Okay, and you first see this at 10 months old. You can remember that pincer grab at 10 months old. Okay. Yeah, so pincer grab at 10 months old. The baby points to objects by 12 months. Here social smile is by 2 months. So this a social smile is like a baby just smiling at you because either they're trying to imitate your smile or they I think it's a reflective like a reflex because you smile at the baby they also smile back. Just like when when you laugh baby also laughs most times, yeah. So I think the baby doesn't. I don't think the baby knows that it's smiling or laughing or even happy. Does it because you did it? Like monkey see, monkey do, like that. All right, so strange. Oh, okay, stranger anxiety. What is stranger anxiety? Stranger anxiety. Is a fear of unfamiliar people that could include friends and neighbors, or people that the baby doesn't normally see. Stranger danger. So I think a baby's like innately they know when it's a stranger. You have to be like cautious. So innately babies know stranger anxiety, stranger danger. Yeah. And then they develop this by 6 months. Yeah. So separation anxiety happens by 9 months. So when you're separated from the primary caretaker, the kid develops separation anxiety, and this is evident by 9 months. Okay. Um, Orients first to voice by 4 months, and then to name and gestures by 9 months. So the baby listens first to the voice, like the baby recognizes the voice by 4 months, like the mom, I guess. The mom's voice by 4 months. Then the baby responds to her name and gestures by 9 months. Object permanence by 9 months. What is object permanence? Object permanence. Object permanence is understanding that whether an object can be sensed. Basically, object permanence is understanding that whether an object can be sensed has no effect on whether it continues to exist. So basically, um, a 2-year-old, if you give him a toy and then take it back, he still knows that toy is there somewhere, right? He probably knows you're hiding it. Alexa, stop. He probably knows you're hiding it. Yeah, he probably knows you're hiding it. Um, whether, but whereas like a 6 month old, if you give him a toy and then you take it back, the 6 month old is going to think you like the toy disappeared. Like it's not. Like he's like it's not here. It's not on this earth. So yeah, that's what object permanence is, and the kids develop object permanence means that they know that a toy is there and you're hiding it by 9 months. Okay, oratory says mama and dada by 10 months old. Mama and dada, okay? They say mama and dada by 10 months old. Okay. So a toddler cruises takes first steps by 12 months old. Cruises takes first steps by 12 months old. The kid climbs the stairs by 18 months old. The cubes stacked. The number equals the age times 3. Cutlery feeds self with fork and spoon by 20 months. Kicks the ball by 24 months. Recreation, parallel play by 2 years. 24 to 36 months. Rapprochement moves away from the mom and returns to mom by 24 months. Realization, core gender identity formed by 36 months. The words use the 50 to 200 words by 2 years, and then the kid uses 300 words by 3 years. So here, what does it mean? Cruises. Cruising is like a baby walking while holding onto like the table. Okay, so yeah, so the baby cruises and takes the first steps by 12 months. Okay, so when does the baby walk? By 12 to 18 months, exactly. Kid walks by 12 to 18 months. Climbs stairs by 18 months, yeah. Climbs stairs by 18 months. The cube stacked. The cube stacked. How much a baby can stack is the number. I mean, sorry. How many cubes can be stacked is the number, like the age of the baby times 3. So basically, the kid is 1 year old. 1 times 3 is 3. The 1 year old should be able to stack 3 cubes. If the kid is 3 years old, 3 times 3 is 9. The 3-year-old should be able to stack 9 cubes. Okay? So whatever the kid's age is times 3, that's how many cubes a kid should be able to stack normally, a normal milestone. Cutlery. A kid feeds himself with a fork and spoon by 20 months. The kid can kick a ball by 24 months. Okay. Recreation, we did parallel play, which is 24 to 36 months. And cooperative play is by 4 years. So that's when you play with other 4-year-olds. Rapprochement moves away from the mom and returns to the mom by 24 months. Realization that they're a boy or a girl. They know this by 36 months, which is 3 years old. Working. Okay, words. A 2-year-old uses between 50 to 200 words. A 3-year-old uses 300 words. Okay, preschool. A 3-year-old can drive a tricycle. For drawings, a 3-year-old can copy a line and a circle. By 4 years old, they can copy a stick figure, dexterity. 4-year-old can hop on 1 foot. A 4-year-old can hop on 1 foot and use buttons or zippers. A 5-year-old can groom himself. Freedom. Okay, this is all between a 3 to 5-year-old. So basically, a 3-year-old comfortably spends part of the day away from the mom. Yeah. When does separation anxiety take place? 9 months, I believe. 9 months. Yeah, 9 months. Okay. So a preschool age. So 3-year-olds they're in preschool, so they're fine when they go to school, right? Preschool. Okay. Friends. They have cooperative play, which is 4-year-old has a cooperative play, and imaginary friends by 4 years old. On language, understands 1,000 words by 3 years old. Uses complete sentences and prepositions by 4 years old. Okay. Alright, understands 1,000 words by 3 years old. Uses complete sentences and prepositions by 4 years old. Legends can tell detailed stories by 4 year old. Okay, 4 year old can give you a very detailed storyline, okay? Okay. So we are done with this infant and child development. Okay, remember this it can I know it looks like easy, but you can get tripped up very easily about milestones, okay? So just remember that. We're gonna take a 2-minute break and we'll be back, okay? Okay, so we took a longer break, but we are back. Alexa, set another timer for 45
For how
minutes.
long?
For 45 minutes. Okay.
Timer for how long?
45 minutes.
45 minutes, starting now.
Okay. Guys, we have 45 minutes to study, okay? Okay. Let's see. Now, let's see. Okay. 137. MDD patients have increased REM sleep even though they complain of insomnia. They also have decreased REM latency and decreased stage 4 sleep. So, patients with major depressive disorder have increased REM sleep. Okay, what is REM sleep? REM sleep is rapid eye movement sleep. Um, it's a stage of sleep where most dreams happen. Rapid eye movement sleep. Okay, so your eyes are constantly moving back and forth in that one. So basically, patients have increased REM sleep even though they complain of insomnia. They also have a decreased REM latency. Okay, oops. REM latency is the amount of time that elapsed between the onset of sleep to the first REM stage. Okay. REMs. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see this. So, this is REM sleep. There's N1, N2, and 3. Alright, so REM latency is the amount of time that elapsed between the onset of sleep to the first REM stage. Okay, so it's the amount of time that has passed from when you first started sleeping to the first REM stage. So people that are depressed, they have decreased REM latency. So they have a decreased time to get to REM sleep. Hold on. Okay. So, and let's say a normal person has, this is not it, but I'm making it up so that we can understand. So, let's say a normal person that's not depressed has, gets to REM sleep in 5 minutes, and then somebody that like 5 minutes is normal to get to REM sleep. In those 5 minutes, we have N1, N2, N3, all that, and then somebody that is depressed, they have a decreased time from N1 to REM. So they'll get to REM sleep in 2 minutes rather than 5 minutes. That's what that means. So I don't know the exact numbers. Just know that major depressive patients that have a decreased REM latency, so they have less time to get to REM sleep. Okay, so patients, MDD patients, have increased REM sleep, and they have decreased REM latency and a decreased stage 4 sleep. Okay, decreased stage 4 sleep. Stage 4 is deep sleep. They have decreased stage 4 sleep. 138 is OCD. OCD, SSRIs are the first line for OCD. Clomipramine is the only TCA used in the treatment of OCD. Okay, all right. And venlafaxine is an SNRI, which is a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. So this means that it increases the serotonin and norepinephrine in your brain. And venlafaxine is the second line for OCD. Okay. 139 inhibition of sodium coupled carrier mediated transfer to glucose by PCT will cause the glucose clearance to approach the value of GFR. GFR is calculated by inulin clearance. Okay. Inhibition of sodium coupled carrier mediated transport of glucose by PCT will cause the glucose clearance to approach the value of GFR. Okay. Inhibition of sodium coupled carrier mediated transport of glucose by PCT will cause the glucose clearance. Inhibition of sodium coupled carrier mediated transport of glucose by PCT will cause the glucose clearance to approach the value of GFR. Inhibition of sodium coupled carrier mediated transport of glucose by the proximal convoluted tubule will cause the glucose clearance to approach the value of GFR. Okay, to approach the value of glomerular filtration rate. GFR is calculated by using inulin. Okay, so GFR is calculated by using inulin clearance. Okay, so GFR is calculated by using inulin clearance. Okay, 140. Every time GFR halves, serum creatinine doubles. You have to know that. You have to know the chart for that. So serum creatinine. Alright. That'll stop whining. Okay, serum creatinine. So this is the chart you gotta know. Basically, every time GFR halves, the serum creatinine doubles. Okay. So when the GFR is cut in half, the creatinine doubles. So the glomerular filtration rate, when it halves, the amount of creatinine in your body builds up. That is kidney failure. Okay. What is normal GFR? So normal GFR is 100 to 130. Is 100 to 130 milliliters in men. Okay, and 120 in women. So basically, what I said earlier is in milliliters. You just know You just know this. Basically, a GFR 60 or higher is normal. A GFR below 60 is not good. So a GFR 15 or lower may indicate kidney failure. Okay, so think of a 60 being normal. Okay, so GFR is the main indicator of kidney failure, not serum creatinine. Okay, so GFR is what is used to measure kidney function. This is the chart you have to know. So basically, if see, it says GFR at 60, creatinine is 200 GFR, and at 60, creatinine is 200. Okay, and then you go all the way to all the way to okay, so this is in milliliters. That's why I was like confused for a second. So remember how we just said 120 is normal in women? 120 milliliters. So this is milliliters, yeah. 100. Okay, so basically 120 milliliters is normal. So when you're 120 milliliters, the creatinine in your body is 0, which ideally is what it's supposed to be. That's good. There is no creatinine building up. So that means your kidneys are normal and they're functioning. Whereas, let's go to 60 milliliters per minute. Let's say that's a GFR, and um that's at, okay, 100. Looks like 100. So it went from 0 to 100 real fast, right? This is the normal GFR here in milliliters. Supposed to be 0. Anything under that, you can see the creatinine is building up. Over here at 30, the creatinine is, okay, 30, the creatinine is about 300. So that's really bad. Alright, so you just have to know, um, every time the GFR is halved, the serum creatinine doubles in the body. Okay? And remember this chart for kidney failure. Now next, 141. For inulin, the filtered amount equals excreted amount. For inulin, the filtered amount equals excreted amount. Inulin can be used to measure clearance of any substance as long as that substance is freely filtered the glomerulus. Okay, 1 second. I have to go tend to my cat. Give me a sec. Okay, so So we are back. Okay. So for inulin, the filtered amount equals excreted amount. Inulin, the filtered amount equals excreted amount. Inulin can be used to measure clearance of any substance, as long as that substance is freely filtered at the glomerulus and completely excreted. Yeah, so for inulin, the filtered amount equals excreted amount. Inulin can be used to measure the clearance of any substance. For inulin, filtered amount equals excreted amount. Inulin can be used to measure clearance of any substance, as long as that substance is freely filtered at the glomerulus and completely excreted. Inulin can be used to measure. Inulin can be used to measure Inulin can be used to measure the clearance of any substance, as long as that substance is freely filtered at the glomerulus and completely excreted. Yeah, so inulin is filtered but not reabsorbed and not secreted. So it means that it goes into the glomerulus and into the urine. So reabsorbed means so out here, outside, all this is blood, right? This is the kidney, like the inside of the kidney. So the sodium, potassium, chloride, all that stuff that's going in, it's being taken back into the blood. It's being taken back into the blood. That's reabsorption. Okay. Otherwise, we would just pee out all our sodium. So what's being taken back into the blood is reabsorption, and what's being secreted is all the stuff in the blood that the blood doesn't need, the body doesn't need. That goes into the um, renal tubules, which is this renal tubules, and goes out into the urine. And anything comes out of the urine is excretion. Is okay? Excreted. So inulin, filtered amount equal okay. So the filtered amount, it goes in this way and then all the way out into the urine. Inulin can be used to measure the clearance of any substance, as long as that substance is freely filtered the glomerulus and completely excreted. So basically, inulin can be used to measure the clearance of anything, as long as that substance is freely filtered at the glomerulus and completely excreted. Okay. Yep, 142. When the baby is dehydrated, ADH is stimulated. Oh, body. When the body is dehydrated, the ADH is stimulated. So when the body is dehydrated, it tells ADH. Okay. um, the body tells itself that you need to hold water back. You need to hold water back because you need water because you're dehydrated. So which one holds the which hormone holds the water back? That's ADH. ADH is stimulated. So when the body is dehydrated, ADH is stimulated. Okay, so you have to know the collecting duct. ADH makes the water leave collecting duct. So collecting duct becomes more concentrated. Okay, what that means is this. Where is the collecting duct? Collecting duct ADH. ADH. Collecting duct ADH. So this is the ADH. Collecting duct where the ADH acts. So basically, the ADH goes here and pulls out all the water into the body. And when it does that, the collecting duct becomes very concentrated with solutes like sodium, potassium, all the stuff that's going to be peed out. So the entire point of ADH is to draw the water out into the body to make it not dehydrated. Okay, so collecting duct. The ADH makes the water leave the collecting duct, so the collecting duct tubule becomes more concentrated. If there is no ADH, the collecting duct becomes um, impermeable to water, so the collecting tubule becomes dilute. Um, becomes dilute and continues to be removed. Contains most dilute fluid. All right. So okay. Okay. If there's no ADH, the collecting duct becomes impermeable to water. So that means the collecting tubule becomes very dilute, and that's how you pee out. You pee out everything because the collecting duct is right before peeing, right? So yeah. So if there's no ADH, the collecting duct becomes impermeable to water. If it becomes impermeable to water, that means no water can leave the collecting duct. And then the collecting duct becomes very dilute, and that's how you get dilute urine. And if you have dilute urine, that means your body is peeing out all its water. That's why you become dehydrated. Okay, this is what happens if you don't have ADH, okay? So what happens in diabetes insipidus? What happens in diabetes, like the central diabetes insipidus? You're peeing out all your water, so you become dehydrated. Okay, all right. So thick ascending Henle, it contains the most dilute fluid. The distal convoluted tubule contains. Okay, so thick ascending Henle, which is this. Thick ascending Henle is this. That contains the most dilute fluid in the renal system. Okay, and the DCT, this distal convoluted tubule, contains the Um, Also contains most dilute fluid. So basically, the ascending loop of Henle and the DCT contain most dilute fluid in the renal system. Talking about in the presence of ADH. Okay, yeah, when you have ADH. Alright. DCT. Oops. DCT. Okay, that's a bad figure. Bowen's Keppel PCT descending and then ascending limb. So DCT and then this is the collecting tubule right here. So basically the distal tubule and the um, ascending loop, this thing, this thick ascending loop, and the DCT contain the most dilute fluid in the loop of Henle. Well, the ascending limb of loop of Henle and DCT contain the most dilute fluid in the renal system in the presence of ADH. DCT and thick ascending limb of loop of Henle. Okay. 143. Juxtaglomerular cell tumor. Here you have an increase in renin and in aldosterone, which causes the hypertension and hypokalemia and muscle weakness. Okay, so in juxtaglomerular cell tumor, you have increased renin and increased aldosterone, which causes hypertension and hypokalemia and muscle weakness. Juxtaglomerular cell tumor. Juxtaglomerular. So the juxtaglomerular apparatus is something that consists of mesangial cells. The juxtaglomerular cells are modified smooth muscle of the afferent arteriole and the macula densa. The macula densa is a sodium chloride sensor located at the distal end of the loop of Henle. Okay. JG cells secrete renin. Yeah, juxtaglomerular cells secrete renin in response to decreased renal blood pressure and increased sympathetic tone. Yeah, so JG cells secrete renin in response to decreased renal blood pressure and increases the sympathetic system in the body. Macula dental cells sense decreased sodium chloride delivery to the DCT, and this increases renin release. And this causes efferent arterial vasoconstriction, which increases GFR. JG maintains the juxtaglomerular apparatus maintains the GFR by renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. In addition to vasodilatory properties, beta blockers can decrease BP by inhibiting beta receptors of the juxtaglomerular apparatus. This leads to decreased renin release. Okay. Juxtaglomerular apparatus consists of mesangial cells, JG cells, which are modified smooth muscle of the afferent arteriole, and the macula densa, which is sodium chloride sensor, located at the DCT. Located at the distal end of the loop of Henle. Located at the distal end of the loop of Henle. JG cells secrete renin in response to decreased renal blood pressure and increases the sympathetic tone in the body. Macula densa cells sense decreased sodium chloride delivery to the DCT. Okay, macula densa cells sense decrease the sodium chloride delivery to the DCT. This increases the renin release. Yeah, because if you have low sodium, it makes you have low BP. So then your body is telling itself you have low BP. So now you need to increase it by releasing renin, which increases the vasoconstriction, specifically efferent arterial vasoconstriction, that increases GFR. Okay, and beta blockers work by inhibiting beta receptors of juxtaglomerular apparatus, and this leads to decreased renin release, which leads to decreased BP. Alright, now if you have a juxtaglomerular cell tumor, that would increase the renin and that would increase the aldosterone, which causes hypertension and hypokalemia and muscle weakness. So if you increase renin and increase aldosterone, and you have increased hypertension and hypokalemia, all that happens in secondary hypoaldosteronism. So secondary hyperaldosteronism is when you have increased aldosterone, leads to increased renin synthesis in cases of secondary hyperaldosteronism. You can see this in renal artery stenosis, diuretic use, malignant hypertension, and renin secreting tumors. Okay, so basically, secondary hyperaldosteronism is is something that happens in the body. Is something that happens in the body due to increased aldosterone level in the body, and this increased aldosterone level can be due to renal artery stenosis, diuretic use, malignant hypertension, and renin secreting tumors, like we just said. A renin secreting tumor is a juxtaglomerular cell tumor. Okay, like we just said. So juxtaglomerular tumor, if you see a patient has increased renin, increased aldosterone, increased renin, increased aldosterone. Let's see, hypokalemia and muscle weakness. Think juxtaglomerular cell tumor. Okay. And secondary hyperaldosteronism is something that increases the aldosterone. Yeah, it increases the aldosterone in the body due to some other cause. Like aldosterone is increased in the body due to some other cause, and other, like you already have a disease. Like for example, this is cancer. A juxtaglomerular cell tumor is cancer of your kidney. Okay, so basically, if you have, it's a type of cancer of the kidney. So juxtaglomerular cell tumor, juxtaglomerular cell tumor. Oops, see this. See this, the upper part of the kidney that's cancer. So basically, if it's found early, it can be treated, but if it's the complications are really bad, and that can kill you. I hate learning about cancer. I really do. It destroys my mood. Okay, so that's what that is. And because this causes increased aldosterone, because this causes increased aldosterone, this can lead to increased renin. And now you have increased aldosterone due to some other problem in the body, and that's known as secondary hyperaldosteronism. And this could be from renal artery stenosis, diuretic use, malignant hypertension, and renin secreting tumors. 144. Antidiuretic hormone acts on the medullary segment of the collecting duct to increase urea and water reabsorption, so urine becomes very concentrated. So antidiuretic hormone acts on the medullary segment of the collecting duct. Antidiuretic hormone acts on the medullary segment of the collecting duct to increase urea and water reabsorption, so urine becomes very concentrated. Okay, so what is the medullary segment of the collecting duct? Medullary segment of the collecting duct. Okay, so right here. So the collecting duct. So they're saying the ADH works here. So the nephron is split, right? A part of it lays in the cortex, the other part lays in the medulla. This is ADH works in the medullary part of the collecting duct. See this? So right here, this is the cortex, this lighter beige. The middle beige is the medulla, and from here onwards, from the outer medulla to the inner medulla, that's the medullary segment of the collecting duct. And these darker shaded areas is where the ADH will work. The lighter segment is the cortex. Okay, so the cortex of the kidney, cortex of kidney, the cortex of kidney. See this? This is the cortex, and that's where the cortex area of the nephron lies, and medullary segment, which is collecting duct, all lies here. The medulla right here. Okay. All right. So that's what that is. Okay. So antidiuretic hormone acts on the medullary segment of the collecting duct to increase urea and water reabsorption. So urine becomes very concentrated. If you deprive um, if there's deprivation of ADH, what's going to happen? There's nothing to tell the body to hold water. Wait, sorry, deprivation. Oh no, wait, is that what that means? So basically, what they're saying is, if you don't have water, if you're deprived of water, um, basically dehydrated, it means that the plasma osmolarity will be up, and then your body tells itself you need ADH. ADH is also known as vasopressin. So ADH or vasopressin goes up, and then the V1 and V2 receptors, which are in the collecting duct, work. And the V2 receptor results in ADH response. Then the water stays in the body because ADH pulls the water out of the collecting duct, and now the urine becomes concentrated. So basically, this is how ADH works in our body when we are dehydrated. Okay? Alexa, stop. Alright. So, deprivation. So, deprivation of H2O causes the plasma osmolarity in the blood to go up. This calls on vasopressin to act up, and then the body will have water again, and the urine becomes very concentrated. So this is how ADH works in our body when we are dehydrated. How ADH works. Okay, 145. Acute ureteral constriction. So when you have ureteral constriction, what's going to happen to GFR and filtration fraction? They're both going to decrease. Okay, ureter, where's that ureter? So ureter, ureter. Ureter, constriction of the ureter. Um, what happens to GFR and filtration fraction? They both go down. This chart is super high yield. Yeah, I can memorize this. Okay, so constriction of the ureter. Okay, constriction of constriction of the ureter. You see, this is the ureter. These two are the ureters, right? So basically, if you have a constriction of one of them, there is urine backup causing hydronephrosis, but that is not the question. Hold on, let's see. So constriction of the ureter. What happens to GFR and filtration fraction? So you have to remember, goes down. Okay, constriction of the ureter goes down. So basically, all this water overload, fluid overload, all up in the kidneys, the GFR can't work properly. Okay, so that's why you have a decrease in GFR. And honestly, most cases, whichever way the GFR goes, the filtration fraction follows the same thing. Almost always. There are exceptions, we'll get to it when we get to it. But there is no change in renal plasma flow. Okay, renal plasma flow. Okay, so right here, this is the renal plasma flow right here. So this is supplying the kidneys. There is no change to that, right? Renal plasma flow. renal plasma flow. So ureter, and blood vessel. Or the renal artery, sorry. Renal artery. So renal artery is this. This is the ureter, where strictly for urine to go through. Renal artery. All right. So and then renal plasma flow is this renal artery. So that's, don't get mixed up between these two. Okay. Kidney. So renal plasma flow is right here. The ureters come out this way, and that's what's being constricted, and that's what causing the decreased GFR and decreased filtration fraction. There is no change in renal plasma flow, because why would it affect? Constrict at the bottom, why is it going to affect over here? Okay, so renal plasma flow, no change. Remember this. Okay. All right. Okay. So at 146, if you have absence of ADH, what happens to the collecting duct? Becomes dilute or more concentrated. Yeah. So absence of ADH means that there is no ADH2. There's no ADH to hold the water back. So it becomes a dilute. The collecting tubule becomes a dilute. Okay? So you pee out all your water. Absence of ADH. You have to know in the absence of ADH, the collecting duct becomes very dilute. And in the absence of ADH, the junction between the descending and ascending limb of loop of Henle become very concentrated. Okay. Yeah, that's just something I don't know. So absence of the ADH, the collecting duct becomes very dilute, and then in absence of ADH, the junction between the descending and ascending limb of loop of Henle become very concentrated. Okay, just know that. Now the formula for renal plasma flow is renal plasma flow times 1 minus hematocrit. So basically 1 minus hematocrit is in parentheses, and then you multiply that by renal plasma, renal blood flow. So renal plasma flow is equal to renal blood flow times parentheses 1 minus hematocrit close parentheses. So basically do 1 minus hematocrit first, then you multiply that by renal blood flow. That gives you the renal plasma flow. Alright. 148. Angiotensin 2 is higher in the pulmonary vein than in the pulmonary artery. Okay, so you have to remember this. Angiotensin 2 is higher in the pulmonary vein than the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary, oops. Okay, pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein goes from the left, sorry, from the right atrium, right ventricle. It goes from the right ventricle to the lungs. Yeah, from the lungs to the left atrium. Pulmonary artery goes from left. So the pulmonary arteries um, go into your left atrium. Pulmonary artery goes into left atrium, and the pulmonary vein goes from the lungs to the left atrium of your heart. Okay. So angiotensin 2 is higher in the pulmonary vein than the pulmonary artery because there's more pressure on the left side of your heart. 149. Congestive heart failure leads to decreased cardiac output, which leads to increased RAS, which leads to increased sympathetic stimulation. This leads to increased renin, and that leads to increased angiotensin, which leads to increased angiotensin 2. This causes systemic vasoconstriction and afferent arterial vasoconstriction. So basically, that just even in the end stage of cardiac failure, like congestive heart failure, this is the mechanism of what happens. So you in congestive heart failure, you have decreased cardiac output. When you have decreased cardiac output, that tells your body that you have hypovolemia. And when you have hypovolemia, that increases, that tells the renin and aldosterone. Um, uh, that tells the renin angiotensin system. The renin angiotensin renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system to act up, and then when that acts up, that increases sympathetic stimulation that leads to increased renin, and that leads to increased angiotensin 1, that leads to increased angiotensin 2, that leads to systemic vasoconstriction, which leads to systemic vasoconstriction, which causes which causes efferent with the efferent arteriolar vasoconstriction. Yeah, that leads to efferent arterial vasoconstriction. And we'll start with 150 next video. Bye.